A San Francisco sixth grader who'd like to call himself the reading wizard is desperately seeking some magical intervention. Library officials have rejected his request to read books to young kids. And Kim Yonanaka joins us now live from San Francisco with more. Kim?
Tori, library officials say they already have trained librarians to do the job, but that hasn't dashed the hopes of 11-year-old John O'Connor. The sixth grader calls his program Reading Wizard, and it would include him dressing up in costume. He wants to donate a half hour of his time every Wednesday to help younger children learn how to read. He first proposed the idea 2 months ago and tried to convince librarians to give him the okay. He says he wants to do this simply to help out. And joining us now is John O'Connor. He says his mom wanted them to do some community service. And tell us first why you chose to do this.
I chose to do this because my little brother, he's 4, and I like reading to him. And when his friends come over, I read to them, and it's fun because then I ask them questions, and they have to answer them about the story. And he thought he loved it when I read to him. So I just decided to do this. And my mom said it was a really good idea, and then she gave me a newspaper clipping, which she had gotten from one of her best friends, and it said people in San Mateo are reading to kids. It's like sleepy time. You bring your blanket and favorite bear.
So you thought it would be a good idea?
Yeah.
Tell us what happened when you wanted to come to the library. You were telling us you phoned them and then you came down here. What happened?
Yeah, I phoned them and they quickly responded saying, sorry, we don't do that kind of thing. And then I thought she misunderstood. So I came up to the library and she still said, I'm sorry, we don't do that kind of thing, and then just turned away. I stood there for about 5 minutes saying, excuse me, and then she finally came over.
And it took a while for her to tell you. You were telling me to tell you that they don't do that sort of thing here, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you very much. Now Gavin Newsom, Supervisor Gavin Newsom, is reportedly getting involved. The library has reportedly sent a letter to John, but he says he has not received it yet, saying he can volunteer in another capacity, but as far as the reading wizard, that is on hold. That is the latest for now. Back to you.
All right, Kim Yonanaka live in the city this morning, 7:21.
7 minutes after 8 o'clock in San Francisco this morning, a sixth grader with big plans to help little kids learn to read is getting quite a lesson in city bureaucracy and adult insensitivity. Kim Yonanaka joins us now live from San Francisco with more on the story. Kim?
Tori and Frank, 11-year-old John O'Connor says he was stunned to learn that his help isn't wanted at the library, but he says he is not giving up hope. The sixth grader's Reading Wizard program was rejected by officials at San Francisco's Presidio Branch Library. John was initially so excited about the idea, he had flyers printed up and distributed them throughout his neighborhood. John wants to dress up in a wizard's costume and read to kids ages 3 to 6 every Wednesday. But library officials say they don't do that sort of thing and already have trained librarians on hand.
I thought it was really stupid because I thought they want to attract people to the library instead of get them out, because I haven't gone to the library since they've said that. And I think that because of this, they might lose people that I sent.
First proposed the idea 2 months ago and was rejected. He sent a letter to the children's librarian on May 1st, but has yet to hear back from him. Now, the library has reportedly sent him a letter saying that he can volunteer in another capacity here at the library, but again, he hasn't gotten that letter yet. San Francisco Supervisor Gavin Newsom has thrown his support behind him, and Frank and Tori, John tells us he's not giving up, so we haven't heard the last of him. That's the latest from here. Back to you.
Okay, thanks. Kim Yonanaka live in the city this morning, 9 minutes past 8.
For a San Francisco boy, it seemed like a really good idea. Very simple.
We were going to read it together. Yeah.
He wanted to do a good thing. He wanted to spend the summer helping other kids learn to read.
Great idea, right? But as the Chronicle's Phil Matier reports, nothing is so simple in San Francisco. The young man himself wound up the main character in a David versus Goliath battle against City Hall. Here's Matier.
Getting kids to read can sometimes be like pulling teeth, but in the case of 11-year-old John O'Connor, he liked reading so much he wanted to share it with others.
When I see the smile on my little brother's face when I read to him and show him the pictures, and I make him point out stuff, it's a lot of fun.
John had an idea. Why not donate a half hour every week to read to the younger kids at the library?
I was going to either sit right here or right at the edge of that table so I could read to the children, and all of them would be lined up on these little chairs.
So John hopped on his bike and drove the 2 blocks to the Presidio Library, where he pitched his idea. But rather than getting a yes, he basically got a thanks but no thanks.
I didn't understand why they had turned me away.
We try to keep a level of quality control over the programs that we do for kids, because parents bring children here and they expect a certain level of quality.
That would have been the end of it for a lot of kids. But little Johnny isn't just any kid. He decided to take his problem to City Hall.
I talked to Gavin Newsom. He told me that what I should do.
Letters were written, and bammo, a front-page story in this morning's Chronicle, wondering why Johnny isn't being allowed to read. Television, radio, everybody picked up on the story, and before you could say check it out, Mayor Willie Brown said, this kid's going to read for other kids, and he's going to do it by this summer.
Good ideas often come from unexpected places. And I want to thank John and thank him publicly for his great idea to start a reading program for children by children.
And in the process, little John became a celebrity for the day. So what do you think about going on the Tonight Show?
It sounds pretty fun.
Well, what can I say? A story with a happy ending, because not only is John going to be reading here at the Presidio Library, but the library system-wide is now going to rev up a program to have kids read to kids. They'll get a little training about how to handle the other kids. But look, something actually happened. Who'd have thunk it, huh? Pete, Suzanne?
We love it.
We especially love watching somebody do the little two-step there, the public two-step that, Lord.
It all starts with a kid, a costume, a book, and the need to read.
Witches' brooms don't last forever. They grow old, even the best of them.
This is a story about a boy named John O'Connor, better known as...
The wizard. Just the wizard. The reading wizard.
The wizard liked to read to his little sister and little brother.
Yes, I definitely like reading. When Minna Shaw woke up...
So much so that he thought, why not take the reading wizard on the road? Read to other kids and encourage them to read, too. So he brought his idea down here to his local library. He even made this flyer. They turned him down.
It was kind of like I couldn't do anything because I'm too, young, maybe. That's what they thought.
If they did, they thought wrong, because the reading wizard took his case to City Hall, and everyone lived happily ever after. You're going to get to read to kids.
Yeah, and that was my whole goal. I don't care what happens as long as I get to read. The broom bowed, put a log on the fire, and played another tune. The end.
Look at these. We've got a fax from Mayor Willie Brown, a fax from City Supervisor Gavin Newsom. His story even made the Associated Press wire service, but John says it's not about the hype. He says the important thing is that he had a good idea, and now he gets to follow through on that idea. Cheryl?
So, Robert, when does he start?
It looks like it'll be a couple of weeks while librarians work out the fine points of their, get this, brand new Kids Read to Kids program inspired by John. Mayor Willie Brown will host the kickoff at City Hall, and Cheryl, you can bet John will be there.
And I'm sure we'll be there, too. I like that kid.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Robert.
In San Francisco, this is one of those stories that make you go, yeah. An 11-year-old boy who wanted to read to kids at the library wins. In doing so, he actually does what few adults can do, and that is change the system. 11-year-old John O'Connor had been turned down several times by the Presidio Library when he offered to read to younger kids, but the youngster did not give up. He went public yesterday with his story, and now the city's head librarian says that, hey, it's okay. In the end, they'll let him read after all.
I didn't give up because I thought it was a great idea, and I thought I could find somehow to work it out, and
we have. And he did. The head librarian says workers at the Presidio Library were doing their jobs. She says the bureaucracy does not allow them to create new programs. But he's a really good reader. He wants to dress up kind of as a wizard and read to kids. And they said, no, no, no.
Way to go, John. When you grow up, you got my vote. Okay, pal?
It's great.
6:27, now's the time.
Well, it's a story that's now made national headlines. 11-year-old John O'Connor, the reading wizard, went to the San Francisco Public Library and offered to read stories to younger children, and he was turned down. It took the intervention of the mayor and Supervisor Gavin Newsom to right the wrong. The supervisor joins me this morning, along with John O'Connor, and the head librarian in San Francisco, Regina Manudri, nice to have you all here.
Thank you.
I guess I have to ask the question, why are we here in the first place? I mean, all he wanted to do is read stories to young... Why were we caught up in all this bureaucracy, Regina?
Well, I think we live in an age of bureaucracy, unfortunately. But as soon as we heard about this, I heard about this on Monday, frankly.
So you were kind of one of the last people to hear about it,
yes,
right?
it takes time for things to wind their way. I heard about this on Monday and I thought, hey, this is a good idea. And good ideas often come from different places that we don't expect them. And one of the things the San Francisco Public Library wants to do is have kids really read. We don't want to close the book on them.
Well, but you didn't get that impression when you first gave the idea to them that the library thought it was wonderful, did you?
No, I didn't. But it turned out okay.
Yeah, but you called the library and they said no on the phone.
Yeah. And then I thought they had misunderstood, so I rode my bike to the library, and I asked the children's librarian, and she again said no. So. Yeah.
And then they said they sent a letter. What I thought was interesting is the letter that came from the library was released to the media before John ever got... Have you gotten a copy of the letter yet?
No, I don't think I have.
But it was mailed on the same day. The media asked us to fax it to them.
So the media gets it first. John hasn't even gotten the apology or whatever the letter said yet. You have to be kind of chagrined about that.
A little bit.
Yeah.
They insisted that we give them the letter immediately. We did not have a fax number for John or his family. If we had, we would have faxed it to them first. We mailed it as soon as it was ready.
So you got Gavin Newsom, the supervisor, involved. Did you really ride your bike to City Hall?
No, I didn't. That part got kind of confused. I rode the bus with my nanny to go to City Hall.
It's a good plug for public transportation, right?
Right. Okay, how long did you have to wait for the bus? Well, what was your initial reaction?
Well, it was great. I mean, what a wonderful story. Here's a young child that's in and of himself effectuated change that hasn't been able to effectuate itself in years. I mean, this is not a unique story. The story is that you have someone, an 11-year-old boy, that had the tenacity and the firm commitment to see to it that there was change. And I think what we've done is uncovered a lot of the uncertainty people have with regard to their ability to volunteer within the entire system of bureaucracy, but let alone just reading the library. It goes without saying that this should have been an exception made at the grassroots level, and I'm glad we were able to make the change at this stage.
Regina, did the mayor call you? Did you get a call from Mayor
We
Brown?
talked to the mayor's office. The mayor's in Washington.
Yeah.
And I said, look, I'm very willing to do this. The mayor said, hey, we're right behind that. Go ahead and do it. So what we really want to do is make this part of our summer reading program to begin with, which is Kid Power. We have kids from 10 to 16 who come in and help out the littler kids while they read during the summertime. One of the things we also want to do is to invite any other children who would like to do what John is doing, come to the library. We will probably, if we have enough children, we'll have a little class for them, teach them how to read to littler kids, because reading, as John reads to his 4-year-old brother, I saw him doing this yesterday, it's a little different reading to one child and trying to read to maybe 20.
So do you feel pretty good about the outcome of this thing? Kids reading to kids, and you're going to get to do what you want to do?
Yeah, I'm very happy about it, and I think I'm going to get what I want. So.
Yeah, well, that's good. Did you get a call from The Tonight Show?
Yes, I did.
Are you going to be on The Tonight Show?
I have no idea. It's not really clear. I don't know if that's...
What other response have you got outside of the Bay Area from around the country?
Well, we haven't gotten really that many. We got CNN was at the press conference yesterday.
Well, not that. It's CNN.
But,
they wouldn't come across the street to see me, John. You've got CNN to show up. You've got a call from The Tonight Show. And bottom line is you're going to get to read to younger children. That's what you want to do. Congratulations.
That was the whole goal of the... I made a flyer and all that, and that was the whole goal, is to read to little kids.
And there's a rumor Rossi's running for mayor now. He's polling through the roof. Right. So, I mean, a lot of strange things are happening.
The mayor may jerk this new program if that's the case. Thank you, John, Regina. Thank you, and Supervisor, you as well. It's 26 minutes after 8 o'clock.
In San Francisco, a boy with a big hat and a big heart has started a program to teach kids to read, but he had to lobby the mayor to do it. John Sasaki of affiliate KTVU has the story of the reading wizard.
Good ideas often come from unexpected places. And I want to thank John and thank him publicly for his great idea.
After his mother suggested he do some volunteer work, John, an avid reader, decided to offer his services as the reading wizard. He had his costume all picked out and even made up flyers inviting 3 to 6-year-olds to come hear him read.
I thought that I could get other kids to read, and it would like help them to learn how to read. Because like at age 6, you're probably just learning how to read, so that would kind of like give them a little push.
The Presidio librarian rejected his offer because the system had no program in which children could be volunteer readers. John went to Supervisor Gavin Newsom, who joined his fight, and word eventually made it to Mayor Willie Brown. He ordered the library system to start a program.
I think it's great.
This afternoon, John and the city librarian unveiled a new program called Kids Read to Kids. Do you expect this kind of attention?
No, not at all. I thought it was going to be like 9th page, and that would be satisfying, but
And then a news conference like this.
Right. It got front page, and then this happened, and it's pretty shocking.
No matter how shocked he was, John had time today to read to his little sister and brother, 8-year-old Sarah and 4-year-old Alexander, as he often does.
What did you say? The Pasha asked. The boy was very good at his job, and indeed seemed to feel more comfortable talking to the animals.
The library will train John and other young volunteers in the fine points of dealing with small children. John's just happy he gets to share the joys of reading.
It gives you something to do when you have free time, even when you don't have free time and you're really busy. You just want to sit down and read a book and get interested in the book and not worry about all the other things that are happening.